This Express Training Bites broadcast is brought to you by Promo Journal, a division of Promo Corner. Promo Journal provides fresh, daily content from industry thought leaders, blogs, videos, product features, and live content all in one convenient location. Weekly advertising opportunities are available. Contact sales at promocorner.com to get your message seen.
All right, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a fantastic short week because we just had Independence Day. I hope you guys had a great time out there celebrating the birth of our country for, I don't know what year it is. I should have done more research on that. But anyway, it is July 5th. You are watching Express Training Bites. This is on Facebook right now, on Promo Corner's Facebook or Promo Show's Facebook. It also lives over at Promo Corner's YouTube page. And as you saw the commercial in the beginning, it is always live forever for the rest of its life over at promojournal.com, and be on the lookout for a refresh of Promo Journal. We're working hard over here at Promo Corner for that. Speaking of working hard, we've got a repeat guest today. I'm super pumped to have Ian Swope from Promo EQP back on. How are you doing, Ian, man?
I'm doing great. I'm always down for a short week. So yeah, this is awesome.
That is awesome. So last time we talked about the whole Got Your Back series, and I love what you guys are doing there. But today we are actually going to focus a little bit more on what is a buying group and what they do to go to bat for you. So for people who don't know what Promo EQP is or other buying groups like that, what is a buying group?
Well, you know, it's funny. At Promo EQP, we always had an aversion to classifying ourselves as a buying group. We're not that. We're different. We're a pricing program. And the main reason being is that, you know, well, buying groups would engage in things that we don't engage in, right? Like rebate programs or monetizing their supplier relationships. We never did anything like that. What's funny is that going forward now, and next year is actually going to be our 10th year in operation. We thank you. We realize that, you know, we are a group. We're a buying group. We have just under 1,400 distributors now who are part of us, all of them independent. And what they get with us is access to the best possible corporate bulk pricing discount from the roughly 200 or so suppliers who are part of our grouping and part of our family of suppliers. What's interesting is where we're finally starting to embrace the group aspect is that even though we don't engage in rebates, we don't engage in monetizing, you know, supplier relationships on the back of our distributor sales. One thing we do is actually, you know, work as almost like an advocate or a liaison for our distributors, and that really helps them out. So that's essentially what they get for a small monthly fee. They get access to the best possible pricing, and we just kind of make that simple. We've often said that you know, our company wouldn't exist, and in all honesty, if the industry had kept its promise to distributors of access to competitive pricing. And unfortunately, that ship sailed, and it's like putting toothpaste back in the tube, right? It's never going to happen. That all went. So here we are today.
Well, so that, I mean, that is the benefit of joining a buying group like Promo EQP, or there are several out there. There's a bunch out there, and affiliate groups in all types of different ways, and they all fit people differently, right? But
absolutely,
I think that is the benefit of having those. But they were a necessary evil because, like you said, we've gone a little bit too far on swinging that pendulum in who gets preferential treatment and pricing. And so that's what joining something like a Promo EQP or a buying group can actually give you.
Absolutely. We think it's almost a pushback against some of the more predatory aspects of our industry, you know, to help that independent distributor still be competitive.
That is, I love what you do. That independent distributor to still be competitive. That's the toughest part because of the low barrier of entry into this industry. Anybody can be a distributor, and so then it's the tools that you add to your toolbox that can propel you forward. And buying groups can actually help you do that.
And it's a hyper local industry. We don't often think of that. We go to Vegas for PPII Expo. We work with these large national companies. We're a national group, right? We have distributors from everywhere. But if you look at the distributors, the boots on the ground, they're all very hyper local to their demographic. You know, I mean, our average, it's kind of a joke, but it's not really that. What the average distributor has their meeting with their buyer when they bump into them at the frozen food section at the groceries market, because that's how close they all are, right? And
Right.
so we have this network of very, very small, independent and hyper local distributors servicing local buyers, and yet we oftentimes try to do a top down. This is what's good for the whole industry approach. I don't know that it's always worked out. So
That's, I'll tell you what has worked out is you have empowered a ton of distributors in your network, and other buying groups have, to be able to get that huge distributor pricing while still maintaining their local and small business. So buying groups, though, are a little bit more than just about getting the price. I know in your name it says promo EQP, but you guys do so much more than that. Tell me a little bit about that.
well, I mean, it's funny you bring that up, because that's my partner Jeremy Chacon and I have been talking about this quite a bit over the last 2 years. Actually, is we've had some serious growth in the last 2 years of number of distributors coming on, and with that growth came something that we hadn't really thought of before, which is actually being that kind of liaison between the supplier and distributor. Not that we didn't go out to help distributors if they were having a problem before,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the last 2 years of craziness and supply chain issues and shipping issues and all of that kind of really brought into stark relief that aspect of our business, which has now become a major part. And yeah, I kind of jokingly say, but not really joking, that as a distributor, when you're paying for us, you're not just paying for access to pricing, you're paying for access. Because in many ways, if you're having a problem, and it doesn't even have to be a pricing problem, if you have a problem with anything with a supplier, you can call me up, let me know what's going on, and I can jump on the phone and probably have a higher level conversation than the average distributor, because I'm representing 1,400 of them. And so sometimes we can shake the tree a little harder and get things moving. And we seem to be pretty effective at it because, well, there's no ulterior motive. We don't have our hand in the supplier's pocket. So the supplier knows all I'm trying to do is get the buyer taken care of. So
Mm-hmm.
all three people at the table, the distributor, supplier, and us, we're working for the same goal. It actually smooths it out and allows us to fix problems and handle things a lot faster than I think we would have ever previously.
That is awesome. I mean, that's one of the biggest tools too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
first of all, the distributor gets into the door because they've got the competitive pricing,
Right.
but then now you're giving them that voice inside of that supplier. If something does go wrong, or if they need something, a little bit of help or this or that, you're there for them. That is so awesome.
And sometimes that's all it is just, help something get kicked through when it may have just gotten lost in the shuffle of things. Other times it's more serious issues like that. But I mean, that's one of the things I tell our suppliers. Like, when we bring on a new supplier, and the only reason we bring on a new supplier is if our distributors ask for it. We don't just go looking for every supplier out there. We don't have any need to, because we don't have any monetization as we have no financial incentive to bring on every supplier in the industry. I
Right.
kind of don't care. I just want the suppliers who are going to take care of our distributors.
Exactly.
And that's what I tell them. The only thing we ask them is that the benefits extended to our group meet or exceed benefits extended to any other groups they're a part of, and that our distributors are treated fairly. That's it. Outside of that, I make no demands on them. So,
well, and that's all you can ask for, right? I mean,
absolutely.
because you're not trying to strip them of their money too, of taking money off of their table. We're all just here to get the job done right and fairly.
And
So
I see that as an ethical stance. We really do. And I've kind of
Mhm.
gone on a soapbox before about this. I think you and I have been on the phone and I've ranted for an hour, but I really do. I think it's wrong for me to have get a cut of a sale I had no part in making, right? The supplier made the product. The distributor sold the product. The buyer is the one where the dollar starts and the product ends.
Mhm.
Why should I get a cut of that?
Mhm.
Right?
Yep.
Pay me like you pay a plumber. Like, I'm just providing a service. I'm happy. I don't need continuing payment beyond the service I provided. I just don't see it as right. And I see it as a conflict of interest for us too, because I don't want our distributors wondering who we work for. I don't want our distributors, wondering, well, did we do a got your back for this supplier because, they're kicking back more cash to us? No, we did it
Right.
because you guys told us you like working with them. It's as simple as that.
I love that. I mean, and that kind of segues perfectly into the last thing I wanted to ask you today, because I say buying group to a lot of the distributors that I talk to and help support here in Texas, and all of them, no, 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 I want to stay independent. And that's why I wanted to reiterate what you had said before of helping independent people. So we've talked about the great things. You get good pricing. You've got somebody who's going to go to back for you. Why do you think there's such a negative perception of buying groups and other groups out there like this? Is it because of what you just said? Because maybe
Yeah.
people are fearful about where their hands are?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'll be honest. I've seen, advertisements for other group programs where they're talking about how, you know, they've got the supplier bent over a barrel for you, and if I was a distributor, I'd have to be standing back going, so what's exchanging hands here?
Mm-hmm.
We make it really clear with our distributors. We make the same demands on our distributors that we make on our suppliers as far as business is concerned, which is nothing. We don't hold them to an arbitrary dollar standpoint. We don't hold them to any kind of stuff like that. What we want them to do is go out and be successful in their market, right? And if we take the concern of pricing off the table for them, then those distributors can go out there and do what they do best, which is take care of what their buyer needs, be a solution provider, be a problem solver. You don't have to think about competing with a website somewhere, because you've got your margin you need. Now do what you really do, right? And that's why our tagline is you are your own competitive advantage. And we really believe that the distributor is the one who started their business. The distributor is the one who picked up their customers. The distributor is the one who's sourcing those products. Everybody else, all these other hangers on in the industry, myself included, can all shut the hell up, because they're the ones out there making the sale and moving the product, not me, right? I just want to get out of their way. And that's why one of the things we don't ever do is tell them who to buy from. Even when stuff was happening and the pandemic was deep into it and lockdowns, and suddenly people were like, I can't find this product. I mean, there was one time it was like, you couldn't find a gray t-shirt to save your life in size medium for like 3 months. Right. And, and we saw other groups telling their distributors, hey, buy what the supplier, or sell what the supplier has. You know what we told our distributors? Go find what your buyer needs. Even if it's not from one of our suppliers, go source your own stuff. Like, you got to be out there and be proactive, because if you take care of your buyer, you're going to make it through this. Yep. And by and large, those distributors did. The independent distributor, I really think, is the unsung hero of the last 2 years, because they kept this business, which, let's be honest, is a boutique, small marketing business industry. They kept it afloat by going out there and finding out what their buyer needs, not being told, oh, you need to buy this from this supplier or buy this. No, they went out there and sourced that stuff themselves. That's how you ended up with unimprinted masks being a #1 item. It wasn't because the industry said we got to do this. It's because distributors went to the suppliers and said, my buyer needs it, find it. and that's a healthy industry, right? The buyers the suppliers instantly responded to the distributor needs, and they all work together. I mean, I'm a big believer. If the suppliers, the distributors, and the buyers are successful, we've got the 3 legs of the table are taken care of. We've got a healthy industry. Everybody else, like I said, myself included, or any other like educators or any of these people, can just shut the hell up, and because and get out of the way. So let the suppliers make great products and offer solutions for those distributors. Let the distributors go out there and be the right-hand man that their buyer needs.
Well, we did, here at Promo Corner, we did a virtual trade show on taking it outside, getting outside. And one of the overarching things we had on one of the education sessions, it was a lady from the Outdoor Industry Association. She was telling us things that are going on, and here's this and here's that. Here are things that the industry of outside people are trying to push. So now go find a product that works inside of that. So coming at it from the perspective of, this is what the buyer is looking at, and here are what associations in their world are doing. Now, how can we take products in our world and put them in there, instead of saying, oh, well, what supplier has outdoor products?
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, the best part of all these independent distributors is they're just hustlers, man.
Yeah.
They're out there hustling, they're working it, they're making sure that they're trying to find out and get in front of their buyer, find out what they need before they need them. That's embracing the best aspect of our industry.
I love it. I love it. The other thing that I love is that you guys have partnered with us over here at Promo Corner and are putting together a monthly series called Got Your Back. We
Right.
talked about it a little bit a year ago. I always like to refresh it. What is that series and why did you start doing that?
Well, that came about actually from all the lockdowns and pandemic stuff. And we, like everybody else, started really embracing the whole virtual idea. Okay, we can't get out, we can't get in front of people. How do we keep business communication happening? We'll have webinars, right? We'll host some of our suppliers to have some supplier webinars with our distributors. And initially that was a great thing to do and that's why all of us, everybody started doing it, because it did make sense. It was a way to keep things rolling. A year and a half into it, a lot of people were zoomed out, and unfortunately you kind of reached a point, not to slam any suppliers because they're great, but you reach a point where if you've seen one catalog webinar, you kind of seen them all,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it started becoming, Miles Davis used to say, don't give too much away, and that was what it became, right? Where when the distributor would get off the webinar and they really had no reason to reach out to that supplier again unless they had an order, because they'd already given them all the information. Everything's there, everything's out.
Yep.
Okay, well, if I have an order, I'll call. We said, what can we do that's taking the best aspect of that and combining it with what we think is the best aspect of our industry, which is the relationships. And that's where this came from. Let's have a larger, long format conversation with a supplier, maybe with a couple people at the same supplier, not just talking about their products, but talking about who they are, why they have the distributor's back, how they're a partner in all of this with the distributor. Yeah. And we only approached suppliers that our distributors recommended us go talk to. So it wasn't really for everybody. It's been a pretty decent success. We've had some really cool conversations. We've learned a ton about some of these suppliers too, how some of them got through, In fact, there's been some suppliers I was like, hey, go watch this guy's Got Your Back video, because they talked about some of their supply chain stuff. Just copy what they're doing because it works.
So you actually have the suppliers back too. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, we always had this rather controversial opinion that suppliers should be profitable. I know it's crazy. It's nuts. That if they're profitable and then they can take those profits and rather than paying them out in rebates, but invest them back into more presses, more machines, hiring more people. Wow. Could we get product out faster? Could we get more options out to distributors? Could we get samples out faster? Could we sell more rather than paying to line somebody else's pockets?
I can't wait to have you back on. I can't wait to have you back on so we can have a deeper conversation on that, because I would love to. But this is Express Training Bites, and I'm going to wrap this thing up. So you guys, if you've been watching, thank you so much. Distributors, if you're out there and you are independent and you're not part of a buying group, look into one that fits the needs that you are looking for. It has all of the things that you need to build your business. And that's what I hope you got out of the Express Training Bites today. Dude, Ian, thank you so much for taking your time out with me. I know it's the holiday season and all that stuff, but we got to get these episodes out there, and I'm glad that we've got this.
I'm still mildly hungover, so.
Hey man, I don't think I've stopped drinking. One of my favorite fictional characters, Archer, he always says, I'm never gonna quit drinking because I'm pretty sure the accumulative hangover will kill me.
In the immortal words of Johnny Depp recently, it's always happy hour sometime, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was such a good line. Oh, that's awesome. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching that Express Training Bites. We will see you back here. We are always on the first and third Tuesdays of the month. So we will see you on July 19th for another Express Training Bites. Boom.
That was pretty decent.